Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start. Oh, I'm kidding. That was my best opening presentation I've ever given. I'm kidding. Hold on one second, guys. Let me see. Alan gave me a standing ovation. Thank you, sir. Fortunately, we've done this a lot. Hey, Peggy. Okay, and John's like, what kind of weird show did I come to? All right, we good? Good online? All right, cool. Thanks, Alan. Okay, so it says, have you been patched, right? So the reason we talk about have you been patched right up front instead of start talking about going into the technology and the science, because this thing works, right? They want you to make sure you get patched, because any idea what percentage of people see results in the first 90 days? 97%. Right. So now if you got a technology and a product that 97% of people see results within 90 days, of course they're going to say, use the flipping thing, right? Put it on. Do all the research that you want. There's so many awesome things that you can do research on, but put the thing on because you are going to experience. It's not an if, it's a when. So David Schmidt, so cool to see this guy get up on stage. I've been in the corporate world for decades. Right. So, and I've seen CEOs, I've seen a lot of people get up on stage and give different presentations. Some of it's impressive, some of it's weird. But I can tell you, anytime we see this gentleman get up on stage, it is inspirational, to say the least. And here's kind of the neat thing. He didn't create a company and say, hey, let's throw a couple technologies on here to make some money with that, right? There's a lot of companies that do that, right? We got a special water, we got a special protein powder, and here's a company, now let's put these on here. It's not what happened with him. So you can see this, look at this, over 200 patents, right? We had a slide weeks ago that said 130 patents. Now it's over 200 patents, right? And I'm sure that's you're going to update that too. But scientists and inventors specialize in age reversing. So what happened is he, through all the different patents he's had with longevity and all these different things, the Navy SEALs reached out to him on a program that they were working on to keep their guys in the field awake and alert up to 36 hours at a time. And with that, he helped them with that through light from our body that we'll discuss here in a second. And they still use that to this day. And then he took that technology and then he said, how can we share that with the regular Joe out there? And so created LifeWave. And since then, created 6 or 7, 8 different other patches, grew this company to about a $20 million company in 16 years. Who knows that $20 million company is a pretty good sized company, right? Not super impressive. The company I'm with is a few $1 billion, but something different happened. 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell activation, stem cell technology. Who's heard that stem cell technology is kind of the new thing out there, right? We've all heard that, right? Anytime I share anything about this activates stem cells, people are like, what? But if we did that 10 years ago, they'd be like, what's a stem cell, right? So he did this. He spent 10 years, $4.5 million on this technology. And thank God, 4 years ago, 4.5, 5 years ago, came out with this technology here that is changing the entire planet. And when I say this, I want to give you a story that happened last night. We were at a golf course at an event, them trying to look at new members and different things like that. We really went for the free food. But so anyway, they're talking about these different things. And one of the guys came up to us, a younger guy, and he said, talking about membership with us and all that. And then he was wearing a shirt, so I could tell he was a doctor of some sort. And I said, are you a chiropractor? And he said, why do you ask? I said, because you told us you'd take 2-hour lunch break, so I figure you're a chiropractor. And so he goes, I got to share that with my wife because she gets on me for all the time for that. Anyway, later on, I walked over to him at the food table and I said, can I get your number? I said, I'd love to talk to you about some stuff that we got going on. He said, absolutely. So we shared numbers. He said, what do you got going on? And I said, well, for a company, this is what I do it for a living. But 2.5 years ago, I got into this organization called LifeWave with this patch that's activating stem cells, and it has changed my world. He goes, let me see that. He looks at it. He goes, are you kidding me? I said, no. He goes, have you seen benefits? I'm like, I've seen incredible benefits. And we have almost 3,800 people on our team. He says, he kind of looks back and does this thing. He said, we literally had a meeting today or 2 days ago in our meeting, all the doctors getting around asking questions. Have you guys heard about this LifeWave stem cell activation technology. We're hearing it from patients and other doctors and other doctors. So it is growing massively, massively fast. So how many people heard of LifeWave before you got in this business? Right? Hardly any of us, right? Well, okay, you, because everybody asks you to do everything, right? Because you're Chuck Williams. But most of us don't, right? So most of us, it's the first time. Or how many people have had somebody else come up to you and tell you about LifeWave since you've been in the business, not knowing you're in it? That's not that often. It's because there's so many people still to be able to do this. But I'm telling you, it is getting out there, and it's getting out there very, very quickly. So anyway, we're gonna have some lunch with this gentleman. So anyway, so you should see 10 years, 10 years and $4.5 million to bring this to the market. When he brought this to the market, this is a patented technology. Obviously, good to have a patent for a number of reasons, but multiple patents. But you can see right on the patent resulting in elevation of copper peptides, including the activation of stem cells. Who knew that your stem cells were going dormant? I had no idea, right? And most of us know. We know that we're aging, but we don't know why. But here's, so we'll pause on that one for a second. If you want to nerd out and read that whole patent, I'm going to give you a website that's going to show you the whole thing. It's very cool. But over here on the patent side, on the right side of the screen, at first I didn't look at this as a business. But when I did, when I opened my eyes to this thing and seen so many people were interested in this, then I look at the patent and said, wait, this patent came on 4 years ago, and nobody else is doing anything to activate dormant stem cells. No, like nobody. And so that means we have 16 years more on a patent that doesn't exist anywhere else than this technology. Yeah, absolutely. So nobody can touch this thing. And then the other things we have coming out are pretty incredible. So why the stem cell activation patch? Who knows that we age? Who feels that we're aging, right? We do, right? I mean, every one of us, when I say when you turn 30, you know, how did that feel? Everybody in their mind has a different story of how it turned when you felt when you hit 30 or 50 or 30 or 40 and then 50 and 60 and so on and so forth. But with that, we kind of, our brain accepts, hey, you know, we're looking in the mirror, we're now 40, we're going to look like this. We're now 50, we're going to look like this, so on and so forth. We're going to feel like this. Yes, we get up and our knees now sound like Rice Krispies when we're getting out of bed, right? It's just what we accept in the aging process. So we do that. And obviously it says right there, hundreds of millions of people are experiencing signs of aging, right? We're just human. But look at this, at age 30, we lose half of our stem cell activity, half of it. Right. So that's when that starts to kick in. And by age 60, 95% of our stem cells have gone dormant. Right. And so, I mean, think of people that are 60 to 90 years old. And as they continue, I mean, every year, every 2 years, every 5 years, it just gets more and more and more challenging. But there's an absolute answer for this. And this is just incredible. So how it works, proprietary form of phototherapy. If you don't know what phototherapy is, I would just tell you, Google that thing. I did. I spent some time Googling it because I've heard slides saying Google it. I actually did. Pretty fascinating information on phototherapy and the fact that this is the same technology that we use to activate our own dormant stem cells. Pretty neat. Patented nanocrystal technology. Again, when I first see nanocrystal technology, I'm thinking these small little robots running around my skin. Not happening. So nanocrystal meaning small, micro sugars and salts. Mainly it's salts, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's salts in the X39 patch. The pain patch, the ones that have a white and the brown one, the brown is sugar. The whites are salts. So interesting. I read that. Could be wrong, but I read it. Reflects light to activate. So when it says light, it's not talking about these, it's not talking about the sun, but the light from our body interacts with this technology, interacts with the patch that has a specific proprietary pattern or frequency on it that goes back and tells our brain with the signal to elevate our copper peptides and then activate our stem cells. So here's the awesome part though, non-transdermal, no drugs, chemical stimulants, non-invasive. Had a guy today that texted me this morning with a guy that said, hey, I want to do this, waiting to get some results back from the doctor on if I can do that, if I get the green light. I'm like, so I text back, well, what's wrong? Actually, never mind, doesn't matter. You can wear this technology, right? So that's the cool thing. It doesn't matter what you've got going on, what drugs you're taking, anything like that. Everybody can take this because this is not breaking the skin barrier. It's not going to your bloodstream. Everybody can use this because it's not healing you. Right? We don't make any claims that this product or this technology heals you. It's our body is the miracle. Our body is the thing that's activating this and doing this for you. All right, benefits of X39. So raise your hand if you've seen more than 2 of these things. So pretty awesome. So here's just a couple benefits, guys. There's so many, we could go on forever on these. Increased strength, reduced inflammation. Everybody know that inflammation is bad, right? How many doctors we have in the house? Some of you guys don't want to admit you're doctors. That's fine. Is inflammation bad? Right? Inflammation is bad. And so reduce inflammation, increased stamina, energy, and vitality. Almost everybody that I've had the opportunity to share this with say that's one of the first things they see is energy and vitality. This isn't on the slide, but I think one of the most unique things that people experience, I seen this on a slide one time that just talked about overall better feeling of well-being. And that's hard to quantify. What is the overall feeling of well-being? But a lot of people just say to me, Josh, yeah, my shoulders feel better, my knees feel better, and I'm sleeping better, but I don't know how to explain this. I'm just better, and it's a better mood. It's a better thing. It's better energy, but overall just a better feeling of well-being. So that's not unnormal. Is that a word, unnormal? We're going to use it today. So unnormal to see that. Mental clarity, restored muscle and skeletal condition, improvement of sleep, and improvement of skin appearance. Love this slide here. This is a topography map, a scan of a brain. Guys, most everybody that I talk to, and I just can't break the habit of this, most everybody I talk to, and I ask, hey, what type of signs of aging are you looking at? It always goes to pain, always, right? So it's my knee, typically, my knee or my shoulders, my feet, my whatever, right? My husband. So it's pain related. But when you pull it back and then they start using this, and they said, I had no idea this was going to help with my stress or anxiety or different things that's going on from a brain standpoint. So here's why. So this is a brain scan, 77-year-old lady without using the X39. The first one here, this is everything red in here is inflammation in her brain, right? So that's not abnormal to see that at that age. But any thoughts here on what inflammation in the brain can cause outside of just kind of stress and anxiety? Dementia, yeah. What else? I'm glad nobody's saying forgetfulness, because that'd be weird. I forgot what it was. Yeah, so right, so dementia, obviously we talk about anxiety, depression, PTSD, but Parkinson's, right? A lot of things are dealing with this. How many people know somebody that's dealing with any type of brain-related situation in there? Right, almost all of us, right? We do. We know people, whether they're in our family or not. But I'm telling you, across the globe, there's been so many amazing testimonies on what this technology has done to reduce inflammation in the brain and significantly help people in those areas. So look at session 2 here. 3 weeks later, the difference in inflammation is amazing. Like that is massive. And then session 3 is 3 weeks after that. Total is 6 weeks. This is what's considered a balanced brain. And I love the part when one of the doctors was talking about interviewing the different technicians that were doing these tests. And they asked one of the technicians, is this normal that you see this progress? And they said it's definitely abnormal, but we've seen it. But it's when somebody changes virtually everything negative in their world, right? They stop smoking, stop drinking, start exercising, reducing stress, different things like that can reduce the inflammation in the brain over time. But we're talking about a year and a half, not 6 weeks. This is absolutely remarkable. So that's that. So I would tell you the stories that we've got on our team. I've had the opportunity to bring in about 123 people, I think it is now. That 123 turned into 3,800 people. But the people that I've personally brought in, the testimonies that they've shared, the stuff on their elbows and their shoulders, their eyes, whatever you call it, different things are amazing. But the stuff that's impacting the brain is really the heart-wrenching thing. So that's always amazing to see. So long-term results. So you can see this on the website. This is at info.com. First few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. And really your body is going through a reboot. Guys, that is like a third of all of your genes, right? Reboots here. And I was reading something on this the other day that cells actually turn over, and they can turn into kind of a negative, especially if you're sick, you got a disease, they turn over to a negative standpoint. They will flip back over, and that's what a reset is on these genes, which is pretty amazing. So feel free to read up on that. It's pretty neat. Within 6 weeks, we showed that your brain becomes balanced. within 3 months, your collagen improves. So anybody taking or know people that take supplements for collagen? Right? There's so many. I mean, every freaking store has, my store has things for collagen supplements, right? It's crazy what's out there, but everybody's trying to increase their collagen. Why? Why do people want to do that? Look younger, right? Yeah, because it makes your skin all plump, gets rid of wrinkles, right? So that does that. Here's the neat thing about X39, though. What they've seen in case studies is this technology, wearing this for 3 months, increases your collagen more than any product in any company across the world significantly. So that is pretty amazing. And as you see, we have so many pictures. I'm going to update our collage of different pictures just on our team of before and after pictures. There's so many amazing pictures on what we looked like 2 years ago comparison to what we look like today. So that's pretty neat. But this one here is amazing, right? Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. Right, I want to ask you guys to raise your hand, but we all know somebody who's dealing with cardiovascular challenges in their world, right? Or even died from it, right? It's the number one killer of, at least in the United States, because we eat so healthy. But what they've noticed here is somebody who's wearing the X39 patch consistently for 6 months, on average, right? It's like 92% of people that wore this, on average, seen a reduction in their cardiovascular age of 8 years just wearing this patch. That's amazing. Right, you're talking about your cholesterol levels, your heart rate, everything to do with your cardiovascular system, reduction in that age by 8 years. If this is the only thing, guys, that this patch did, that's worth it. That's worth it right there. And that's changing the world. So as you guys think about what we're talking about, activating your stem cells, right, to a younger state, right? So if you have 10% left, if you have 20%, if you have 50% left, if we're reactivating those, and they're going to work and helping you with your skin, your eyes, your liver, your lungs, your knees, you name it, right? If your brain, if that's happening and it continuing to happen, that's why David Schmidt says at the bottom here, guys, this is not anti-aging, this is age reversing. What an incredibly bold statement by the inventor and CEO of this company, that we are saying we are age reversing with this technology. And I can say in a little over 2 years, that has been absolutely true for me. So how to wear your patch? We just wear this thing 12 hours on, 12 hours off. I would encourage, for anybody that's already in this organization, to share it with people. Make sure you follow up with the person that you get involved, because almost everybody gets involved, gets their patches, and like, what do I do with these things? Right? I did. I got them. I'm like, I called my buddy Greg. I'm like, all right, I got all these 30. Do I wear them at the same time? He's like, no, you don't do that. And but anyway, you wear 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Throw it out. Don't give it to your husband or wife. Don't give it to your cat. I guess you can give it to your cat. But and then throw it away, put on a new one the next day. Drink a ton of water. When I say a ton, half your body weight in ounces. And that's the healthy way to do it anyway. It gets rid of the junk, but it helps this technology work even faster and better. So a couple pictures real quick. This is a gentleman, we got to meet him in Vegas. Awesome before and after picture. You can see this in his eyes, his hair, his skin, on what that looks like. You can see the dates. This lady up here, one of the things that was neat that she had shared a while back is it said, I didn't want to just give a before and after picture without seeing progress, right? Because anybody can do one of those under a knife, if you know what I mean. But with that, what she's done is she says, here's day one, here's a month into it, a year into this, and then this is her today. Just amazing what this is doing. Marty was here last week. He's not here this week, but we know that if we fell and hurt ourselves today, it hurts a lot more than it did when we were 8 years old, right? So anybody ever fall off a bike or fall off the monkey bars when you were 7, 8 years old, right? What do you do afterwards? Yeah, you get back up, right? You cry a little bit. Unless you're a boy and the girl's watching it, you don't cry. You're like, that was cool. But if we do that today, which hospital was closest to us, right? So that's the decision we got to make. Not do we want to talk to the school nurse. But this is Marty. He's 85 years old. He's at our meetings all the time. But we didn't see him for 2 weeks. Like, Marty, where you been? He said, fell down, cracked my head open on a walk with my wife. We're like, what? He shows us this picture. This was him that day. 2 weeks later, 85 years old, you don't heal that way at that age, period. I don't mean to be ugly about that age or Marty, but you just don't heal that way at that age as a human being, right? But Marty's been on this patch. Chuck, how long has he been on it for?
Over a year.
Over a year. So this guy has got stem cells running through his body, not 85-year-old stem cells, but new, active, running around stem cells, jumping all on down. And we got to update this picture. I say that every week because this man is pretty today, right? He's pretty. He's got some flowing hair. I'm jealous of how much hair he's got. I don't know what he's got going on, but so that's Marty. This is a gentleman that fell through the rafters, punctured his lung, cracked ribs, obviously in a ton of pain. You can see all the bruising, inflammation on there. We all know, some of us, first time any of us have seen this, I'm one. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of held right there. I'm like, you can feel that, right? We've been in these accidents, but again, today, if we know that happens, this was what I'd look like after every softball game I used to play, right? I don't know, it always happened at second base, right? Whenever she showed up, I hurt myself. That's another story. But and then look at the differences here. He's on X39. You can see it right there. 17th to the 30th. Look at the difference in inflammation, in bruising, and everything. This guy's back to work. And that's the same story with Marty, right? So pretty awesome. So, hey, I want to bring up a couple people for testimonies, I think, too. Chuck, we have somebody here. You want to do testimony as well? All right. So, Dr. Dennis, you want to come up here first?
Hi, everybody. I practice in St. Charles. I've been there since 1980. And Chuck got a hold of me about, what, a year ago, Chuck? Give or take. And Chuck asked me if I had heard of LifeWave. And I said, I hadn't. But we did stem cell injections, and we still do in our clinic today. And they're several $1,000s per injection. I didn't know anything about Josh. I'd never met him before. So I go to meet Chuck. Chuck introduces me to Josh, and they tell me about this technology. Well, being in practice, I wasn't really interested in the money aspect as much as I was to help people. And since that time, I can tell you, Josh mentioned about neurological conditions such as Parkinson's disease. We have a patient whose hand used to do this. It's called intentional tremors from Parkinson's. Today, he's got a patch on. He's not in our team, I don't think, is he? Anyway, but there's his hand. He's steady. He's stable. And what did he do different? He wears a patch every day. So I got this great friend of mine standing over here, and I'm introducing you to what happened. He broke a rib. About how long? 2 ribs.
2 weeks ago.
How much?
About a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Week and a half ago. Anybody ever had a fractured rib or a pulled rib or anything to do with your ribs and you can't breathe? Every breath you take hurts like, yeah. Well, he came into the office and he's gasping for air and he's splinting his side. Well, unfortunately, he also has popcorn lung disease. And I'm not snitching on him, but that's what happened. So because of his popcorn lung disease, we can't put a binder on him. And I said, I'm not even going to x-ray you because you've broken how many bones? 46? 46 bones. You're talking to a guy who used to be the president of a motorcycle club. How many guys? 4,000? And what does your club do?
It's bikers against child abuse.
You got to come over this way. Walk with me. There you go.
I was in Baca, it's Bikers Against Child Abuse. And we go to court for children that have been abused.
So even though they look rough and tough, he's a big old teddy bear. That's all he is. And when you see bikers, a lot of times, we're not all terrible people. And we do a lot of good for a lot of different clubs. When he told me he was a biker club president, I was like, no fooling. So let's get back to his ribs. He comes in, he tells me he's holding his side, he's gasping for air. And I said, we got to do something. Now, when Chuck first told me about LifeWave, I had visited with this man. We became friends over and above being a patient. And I knew his circumstances, and he had just quit his, or not quit your job, you were let go, right? Because of your disability?
No, I wasn't able to go back to work.
There you go. So I knew he had to have an income source. And so I said, Shane, I think we might have something for you to think about. Chuck and I took him to a steakhouse, he and his wife. We had a wonderful dinner. We told him about it. They decided it wasn't for them. He's still one of my dearest and best friends. So over the months that happened after that, I kept telling Shane, you got to look into this. You got to look into it. It's really awesome. Shane, I keep seeing more and more about the power of the patch. And he's like, well, maybe someday we will. So now Shane comes into the office with a busted up couple ribs.
I couldn't breathe in, I couldn't breathe out. I mean, he
Where-
gave me a patch. And within 2 days, I mean, I was up and moving around like nothing.
So your pain level before the patch was what, a 10?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, God. What is it now?
Oh, right now it's maybe a 1
How many
Maybe.
days have you worn a patch?
since Thursday.
Thursday. Great. So I asked him today, I said, you owe me a favor. And I want you to come tonight. And I had to practically bribe him to come tonight. I think I did, actually.
You did.
Free dinner. But I told him, I said, please come and share your story. Folks, the power of the patch is amazing doctors every day in practice. We're seeing Parkinson's patients quit trembling. We're seeing migraine patients who don't have migraines. We're seeing people with depression and anxiety that are living normal lives. We're seeing a guy who's coughing up his lung because he's got 2 broken ribs and he can't stand to breathe. Every day, these doctors are seeing patients. You will too, the minute you get out there and start talking. Don't focus on the money. The money's going to be there. You're going to make great money. Chuck's going to talk to you about the money-making opportunities you're going to have. Focus on helping people. And everybody out there has a need for the power of the patch. Thank you, guys.
Amazing, amazing. I think we're gonna just stop doing these presentations and just bring up you guys to show the your testimonies. So next up is Dr. Amy Wicks.
Hello. Oh, that's me. My name is Dr. Amy Wicks. I got involved with LifeWave in January of 2024. After Thanksgiving of 2023, I went into what's called a thyroid storm. And a thyroid storm, for those of you who are not aware, is very dangerous and life-threatening. It landed me in the hospital for about 2 weeks, in which case they had to do a total thyroidectomy because I could not take the medication because I had a rare reaction to the medication that almost killed me. So I have no thyroid gland, which is very difficult for those other chiropractors in the room that I am now on Synthroid for the rest of my life. But my story starts with LifeWave post-recovery. I was not recovering very well. I was tired all the time. I slept all day. I couldn't get back to work, but more so I had mental fog. I couldn't think very clearly. And in my practice, I have a niche practice. It's more of a holistic centered one with acupuncture and lasers and a bunch of other stuff. And it's more of the differential diagnosis codes that we do in the practice. And so I was like, I can't think clearly to be there for my patients. And so I talked to my associate and I was like, can you please pick up more hours? I cannot physically do this job. And she's like, all right, let me talk to my husband because she had 2 small kids. 2 days after that conversation, January 18th, I'm at my friend's salon and falling asleep and holding my neck up because they have to cut into your neck muscles when you do a total thyroidectomy. And so I had neck pain and she just walks over to me and hands me this little quarter-size patch and says, here, put this on. And I said, well, what is it? And she goes, it's a wellness product. It'll help you feel good. And I was like, all right. I thought quickly. I'm like, well, I have no idea what it is. Normally I'd want to know more information, but I trusted her. She was a good friend of mine. She's not going to give me a drug. So I was like, whatever. So I put it on. I fall back asleep. So I don't know how much time went by, but within an hour or so, because I still had highlights going, I just perked up. I woke up, my mental clarity was there. I was thinking clearly, but I had energy. And I was like, what just happened? And so I'm thinking out loud, because that's what I do. I talk to myself a lot. And she looks over at me and she goes, well, you put a patch on. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that thing. I'm like, what is it? And she could not explain to me what this thing was. She finally said, oh, it's glutathione. Coverage room, you know, it's not glutathione. And I go, okay, whatever. I feel good. I'll wear it. She gave me a few to try. 4 days later, a patient walks into my office wearing the same patch. And I was like, I know what that is. And she said, you do? And I said, nope, I have no idea what it is. I don't even know the name of it or anything about it, but I'm wearing it and I feel good. I need a left brain explanation to understand what it's doing for me. And she goes, I'll take care of your left brain, which is the logical side. And I was like, great. And she did. She sent me to thisisatinfo.com. She sent me a video that's designed for healthcare practitioners. I spent about 2 days researching it. And in that time, I had patients asking me what I did differently. I bring them into the room. They go, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? What am I doing? And they say, you're like your old self. What did you change? And I go, I'm wearing a sticker that's supposed to activate my stem cells. And they were interested. They're like, oh, can I try it? And I was like, I don't know. I got to learn more about it. And then I found out from my staff that other people, new patients who never saw the original me, were making comments saying, what's going on with Dr. Amy? Because she's different. She has energy. She's happier. She's doing all the stuff. And so that's just kind of how it started. I met with my patient and Josh and learn more about the product and the business side. I didn't have a whole big interest in doing the business side. I actually told Josh, I was like, you will not talk about the business with my patients. We will talk about the product and that's it. And he goes, okay, that's fine. Lo and behold, within a few days, I had 2 patients come up to me and say, wait, how can I learn how to share this with others and do the business? And here I am today. And oh, by the way, I did use 30 patients as my guinea pigs who were willing to be guinea pigs. And within 3 months, about 90% of them who agreed to do it 3 months saw significant improvement in so many different things. So Dr. Dennis is right. As doctors, we are excited about it because we are seeing so many changes with stuff that we can't really help with entirely. And it's changing people's lives. I had a dementia patient pass a cognitive test. I have multiple A1C levels, which check sugar levels, balance, cholesterol's balancing, decreased pain. It's fascinating, it's intriguing, and more doctors are asking me about it. So thank you. I think that's it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. All right. Would you like to do yours too? One more? Come on, let's do a trifecta.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot. Well, I guess I did a little dissertation.
Oh, yeah, that's my before and after too.
Hello, my name is David Turnbull. I got exposed to this about 6 weeks ago, and buddy of mine from the river, had told me, he checked on me to see how I was doing because a year ago, I unfortunately had a heart attack due to a lot of blood loss. And what it did was it damaged my left ventricle, the bottom part of my heart. And when that happened, the rest of my heart was 100% great, but the left ventricle, actually, half of it was working fine, but the other half did not come back. So it's either paralyzed or it's dead. We don't know at this point. So went through a lot of rehab and a lot of problems with my practice and stuff, and had to go on disability, unfortunately. And so had a lot of anxiety and that kind of thing going on after practicing for 33 years. So it was a little hard. And anyway, I talked to him and he wanted to know how I was doing. I said, I'm coming along fine, but unfortunately, they have a test called an echocardiogram that it's a test to show how the function of that left ventricle in your heart is functioning, how it's pumping. So it was still under critical at that time. It had gone to 28%, but it hadn't gone any further, unfortunately. So it improved about 4 times, but still was under critical. 30 is critical, is 30 or under. So I'm still at 28. So anyway, I ended up having to get a defibrillator, which I was really fighting, because if I got it and my heart didn't come back, it was going to force me not to be able to take care of people like I normally did, adjusting them and stuff because of the exertion. So what happened was, got on this patch and did some research on it first for a couple days, and ended up coming to a meeting, listening to it, and started on it. And we're going to see how things go. I've got to do an echo in September, at the beginning of September. So I've got, and I get blood work usually about every 3 months to see how everything is doing. So we're going to see how this blood work goes, and how my echo is the main thing, how it does in September. And we're going to see if the function of that other side of my heart is functioning any better or not. So got a lot of hope and a lot of prayer along with it, and I hope the patch can help. It's definitely helped some other things that have gone on with me. I had some floaters in one of my eyes that I've always had for, God, probably 10 years. Just once in a while you think there was a little fly or something, or they'd go across your eye, and within the first probably maybe four days, I started noticing that they weren't there. And probably, in which I kind of denied at first, because I'm like, you're just imagining that, they're gonna be there, just give it a chance. And sure enough, after about 7-8 days, none of that came back, and they've been really happy. So I haven't had any more floaters. Eyesight, I still wear contacts and stuff, so it's still an issue. It didn't fix my vision, of course, but the floaters are gone and sleeping really well, and I'm just hoping for the best. So that's about where we're at right now. But this ventricle comes back, this bottom part of my heart. I don't know if I'll be able to shut up about it, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how things go, and pray and do my patch every day. And I just recently got my aunt and my uncle on this yesterday, as a matter of fact. And he has Parkinson's. He's been a Parkinson's patient for 15 years. And we're gonna see how he does with it. So had a little good news from him. Actually, my aunt told me that you hear about these one-day wonders when you wear that patch. And she helped him up. She's been his caregiver for 10 years now. He's wheelchair ridden and stuff, and he's got a pretty good tremor on the one hand. But he was able to stand up from a sitting position on the bed to stand up pretty much on his own with pushing his arms up, which has not happened. Now, we'll see what happens, but it was really good news in a positive way. So we're just hoping. We'll see what happens, but I'll keep you guys informed, and we'll see how things go. She's actually going to be here next week, so she'll probably have some more stuff to talk about, but we'll see how things go. Other than that, where we're at right now.
All right, so got him back in September. I'm gonna put it on the calendar because we're gonna hear that awesome, amazing. September 9th. We'll have you on September 10th.
Exactly.
All right, so gosh, there's so many testimonies that we can go through here. And it's, a lot of people here in this room have done that. There's doctors all over the country that we've heard so many amazing testimonies, not only what it's done for them, but what it's done for their practice. This isn't about doctors, right? It's the average person just sharing this with whoever they need to, because we all have people in our life that do this. But he's got a great testimony. I won't go over that today. All right, so Acts 39, so sophisticated yet simple to explain. I love this side of the business. I don't know about you, but when I want to help somebody understand something, I want to just get into the weeds and explain everything beyond everything. So I walk away knowing, okay, you know everything about this, whatever I'm trying to explain. But what's awesome about this is we don't have to do that, right? Because it says right there, testimonies of X39 are life-changing and emotional. You heard 3 of them. And the great thing is this thing works, right? So we don't have to say, here, do this. It may or may not. Who's had a challenge or not challenge, but who's had somebody you've given this patch to and they say, I'll try it to see if it does anything for me, right? We all have, every one of us, and every one of us have had those people come back and say, hey, it worked. Yeah, ding dong, it does. It works for 97% of people in 3 months. This thing works, right? So, but it's okay. We're patient with people because I was skeptical. I don't know about you guys, but I was skeptical too. So the cool thing is we don't have to go into all the detail. We just send them to this website. Right? Thisisit.info.com is everything that we need to know about the technology. Whether you want to take a high level look at it, looking at the 3 videos that take you 8 minutes to do of your life, do that. Or you want to take a deep dive by going to the PubMed.gov articles and the case studies and the white pages and everything that's on there, you can do that. But don't spend your time trying to learn everything, explain it to people, because then they feel like that duplication process is very detailed. Right, here's the website, and let's move on. They even have part of that website on a drop-down feature where you can just go through so many of these things. What I love, and I've been doing this a lot lately, is if I'm meeting somebody and we share this technology, I'll send them the link, and when they get it on their phone, I'll pull this up and show them what the sites are, and then say, hey, here's the other thing. And I'm like, do you know of anybody or yourself that's got any of these issues? And they'll look at them, yeah, this, so I'll hit play on one of these things so they can see those. But that is such an amazing website for you guys to share. I'm going to turn this over here to Chuck here in a second, but LifeWave as a company is, this technology is amazing. What we've got coming out on top of that is amazing. We won't talk about that too much right now, but holy moly. But this company here, when this thing hit $20 million in sales on year 16, right? We didn't, and then you would think that we added one more patch, this guy right here, and then we would go to 22 million, 24 million. Brenton, you're in finance. If a company went from 20 to 24 million dollars, is that a pretty good company in 1 year? Pretty good lift, right? 10% lift. Most companies would be excited about it at 10% comp. It's not what happened to this company, right? In 4 years, we didn't pick up 4 to 8 to 10 million dollars. Nope, we went from 20 million to 640 million dollars in 4 years. Anybody convinced this could be $1 billion company this year? Yeah. Anybody, if this was open on the stock market, would you put some money in this thing today? Absolutely, 100%. We know what Bitcoin did, and right, and I had somebody post the other day, hey, if you put money in Bitcoin, you're going to be a millionaire down the road. I'm like, yeah, one Bitcoin's 9 grand too, so there's that. But anyway, so we know this is going to be $1 billion company. It's going to be a multiple billion-dollar company. When you get into this and figure out and realize what this company is all about, what the future is, it is awesome. But here's what I want you to understand. 2 things, and I'll give this to Chuck. Number one, this technology cannot see that type of growth if this thing didn't work, right? So just know that people are skeptical. It's okay. This wouldn't do that without this thing working. And number 2 is people all over the globe, me included, that looked at this and said, I'll use this for my knee. I'll use this for different things I have on it, but I don't know if I want to do the business side. I sure the heck didn't. I run a $200 and some million business, been doing that for 21 years. I am busy, but I can't shut up about this. And 1, because of what it's helping people do physically, mentally, but 2, we have a large number of people now on our team making a large amount of money. Right. So I'm pretty excited about what the freedom is going to be for so many people here. And this is not fictitious freedom, right? My wife and I looked at this, and I'm making $200 a month to cover our patches, right? We just spent yesterday, we're taking a family trip to Florida, and we bought 10 airline tickets for our whole family and grandkids, got a house, got everything down there, a big rental car. And are we putting it on credit cards and paying it off down the road? Nope. So if you just do the math, this is beautiful, and it's changing the lives. So Chuck Williams, if you want to come up here and talk about how that side works, appreciate you.
I think it's fairly quick tonight. Hopefully you've been enthusiastic about the product. Would everybody agree it probably works? You don't need to be a doctor to know that it works. My friend Brent in the back shared this with me, and I've been the #1 income earner with 5 different companies throughout my career in network marketing and direct sales. And so I know how to build businesses. I know about compensation plans. I had 0 interest in this business, 0. My dad died of dementia and Alzheimer's, July 7th, 2020. So it's coming up on a 5-year anniversary. And I wanted to avoid that at all costs. So when Brenton showed me this product right here and told me it could activate my dormant stem cells, Dr. Dennis Rod is a friend of mine. So through his friendship, I learned that stem cells could help me avoid dementia potentially. And so I was very, very excited about trying this for $100 a month. With that being said, about 4 months into the program, using the product, 0 intention of building a business, my wife and I started getting noticeable results. The #1 result I found, your name's John, right? And Shane, was your name Shane? I couldn't do that before LifeWave. I would forget names. I try to remember names, but after a little while, I just forget them. Now, I gotta apologize. I don't remember all the ladies' names, but I met 27 guys at a retreat one time, and I remembered every single name. And I knew something was going on in my brain that never happened before. My memory was better. So I'm here to tell you that the compensation plan I'm going to show you is absolutely phenomenal. Whatever your dream is, you can have it. And so I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for people that want better health, and I'm looking for people that want their dreams again. So many people in our country and around the world have just quit dreaming. They're just trying to get by. And we have an opportunity here with the kind of money you can make to dream again. So I'm looking for people with better health, or they got a dream. Now, I will say this. I have seen many compensation plans. As Josh said, when people have a business, they run it by me. They want me to get in because I have built teams of 80,000 people before, twice with 2 different companies. So we know how to do that part. And so they approach me with business. I've seen compensation, I've written compensation plans. The one we have is the best I've ever seen. It really is. But I can take this product, just like Steve Merritt says, and I can take this product in any compensation plan and make a lot of money. The product is that good. Now, other compensation plans I've worked with, the percentage that the company pays out is in the 30s, 33, 35%. This company pays out 60%. 60% of the revenue that comes to the company gets paid out to us for sharing it. Would you say that's a pretty healthy number? Okay, there's three main core packages we use. There's a fourth one coming soon. But the first one's called Core. It's $295, and that's how I started. Again, how much of 0 to 100 did I have interest in the business? 0, right? So I came with this. It was just for me, just using the product. My wife and I, that's a month and a half supply for both of us. That's what I bought. Later, I understood the value of a premium, so I upgraded to premium. Because when you're in the business, you want to have some extra inventory so you can get product to people right away and give them a head start a whole week instead of them waiting for it to be shipped to them. It makes a difference. So these are the three packs: Core, Advanced, and Premium. $295, $535, and $1750. A key factor is this points here. The points in all 80 countries we're in is the same for every product. The dollar amount is in whatever currency that country's in, but this is consistent. 180, 300, 745. The monthly subscription, so one sleeve, while it costs $99.95, has 77 points. You don't have to remember all this. I'm telling you, I'm just trying to show you the three ways we make money right now. Number one is product introduction bonus. So when you're a brand partner and someone purchases one of these three, you're gonna make $35, $75, or $405. $35, $75, or $405 when somebody purchases one of those packs. If you see the business opportunity and you're entrepreneurial, you want to come with the premium pack. You really do, because that's going to give you inventory to start sharing people and start building your business right away. If you're into sharing with a few people, but you're not really into being an entrepreneur, the advanced is the best pack. That's going to give you 6 months worth of product, 3 for you and your spouse if you have a spouse or significant other. And this is just for this person who just kind of wants to kick the tires. It's a 90-day supply for one person, a 45-day supply for 2. So 35, 75, 405. That's the first way of making money. It's called product introduction bonus. This is residual income. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of questions, but one is, would you really get paid one time $35 for selling a core pack, or would you really make money every single month as people buy over and over and over again? There is no way when I make money now with this company, I ever quit using this. That's called residual income, because people, when they get this, they're not going to want to be without it. So as you build 2 teams, a right team and a left team, as those 2 teams start to grow, as volume on each side starts to happen, you get paid what's called a cycle bonus. Don't worry about the term. It just means it's a bonus paid on the volume of your 2 teams. As those 2 teams grow, you can eventually earn up to $25,000 a week. There are people doing that. I know that sounds like a gross large number, but there are people earning $25,000 a week. The company has to cap this one way of making money at that because of this. This compensation right here pays down through infinity. So as your 2 teams grow, it's not just the people you refer to the company, it's your referral genealogy down through infinity. So as you refer someone and they refer someone and they refer someone all the way down through infinity, all that volume counts for you. They couldn't pay it out if it was just one team. That's why it's got to be 2 teams. And this has been proven over the last 20 years. This is one of the most effective ways to build a business because it's people helping people. It's not all based on your own individual effort. You can build teams like Josh has built a team of, what did you say, 3,800 as of last night? 3,800 people. He hasn't personally enrolled 3,800 people. He's enrolled over 100, but those 100 have shared. Those are shared. That's how you build big teams. When you build teams, you create residual income. So as him and Paul sleep every night, they wake up the next morning and they made money while they're sleeping. How many of you could get excited about making money while you sleep? That's what you do right here with this way of making money. Now, the third way of making money is the best, and it's matching bonuses. When you become a manager, and it's very simple to become a manager, you simply have 2 people you personally enroll on your right team and 2 people you personally enroll on your left team. There's a certain little volume requirement, but it's not much. When you become a manager, you start making a 25% check match on every single person you personally enroll. Now, if they do a product introduction bonus, you don't get 25% check match on that. They get it all. But when your people, that first level, when they earn those bonuses called cycle bonuses from the 2 teams, when they earn that, you get a 25% check match. So far this week, I don't know the exact number, but what's Thursday? We made about $600 so far in our 2 teams so far, Diane and I, my wife and Diane. So Brenton, who enrolled me, gets a 25% check match on my $600. He probably knows the exact amount. He's probably seen it already. 25%. But here's what's cool about this compensation plan. I told you I've written compensation plans. I've seen other compensation plans. I'm not aware of any that offer multiple level check matches. So not only does Josh give this 25% check match on the $600 we've earned so far this week in our cycle bonuses, but because Brenton and Paula enrolled, I'm sorry, Josh and Paula enrolled Brenton, so Josh and Paula get 20% on the $600 we've earned so far this week. Josh and Paula didn't even know me and Diane until Brenton introduced me to them. Greg down in Florida sure didn't know me and Diane. He's made a 20% check match on the $600 so far this week. So you can earn that check match 3 levels deep. Now, this is very exciting. I get to share this with you. This company, as Josh showed you, went from 20 million a year after 16 years to 640 million last year, 2024. That's called momentum. It's hyper momentum. There's only a few companies in the history that have ever done that type of momentum. A lot of companies would rest on their laurels and just ride this thing out because they're making a lot of money. 40% of that kind of money is a lot of money. The 60% to put back on us. But they're not resting on that. Over the last 3 years, they've been working on a compensation plan enhancement. So the compensation plan I just showed you is probably the best I've ever worked with in 30 years. What they're about to roll out in the next month or two is far superior to our current compensation plan. I'll just give you a couple highlights. More money for your newest brand partners. They literally took the 60%. They're not changing the 60%. They're just changing how it's distributed and how you can earn it. Instead of 3 ways of earning, you can earn 9 ways now. And one of the key factors of the new compensation plan is they strategically figured out how can we help a new person like John make more money faster. Is that good, John? A new person, if they're making money and they're getting results with the product, what are the chances of them staying with the product? So they've set up a way in the new compensation plan that you help somebody come in at, say, the advanced level, have 1 advance to the right, 1 advance to the left. They make $75 here, $75 here, and that makes them a manager 1-star. As a manager 1-star, they start getting a 25% bonus every week that they're qualified as a 1-star manager, up to 9 weeks. That's amazing. And if those people grow a little bit, or if you add 1 more advance to the right, 1 more advance to the left, you become a 2-star manager. And if you're in your first 9 weeks, you start earning $50 a week every week. So the brand new person can make money like they never could before. That's all new money that they took from the people who are making millions. They said, look, we're going to move it around. We want the new people making more money. Just changing the compensation plan, there's going to be 60% more people making money than there were currently on the current compensation plan. And I'm here to tell you, the current compensation plan rocks, but it pales in comparison to what they just added. We all admit that the product is a great advantage in the marketplace because, like Josh said, no one else has it. We now have a compensation plan. This new one, nobody in the industry has a compensation plan as robust as ours. 60% getting paid out. And number 1, most importantly, new people are going to make money. Number 2, if you build this, they've set up to where if you build this, you can become financially free for the rest of your life. So we're not going to go into all the details tonight, but just realize this one right here, new people, you're not going to understand that, but they just did us a huge favor. There's no structure required in your organization anymore. So remember, Dr. Dennis, you and I were always thinking about, okay, we need a manager here, we need this there. All that's gone. When the new compensation plan comes apart, it's just simply volume. You no longer have to worry about structure. That's a huge benefit. So with that being said, I want to encourage you, whether you just want to get your products paid for, or if you want to make a lot of money and help a lot of people, it's wide open for whatever you want to do. Get back with the person who invites you. If you're online, just text or call the person who invites you, and they will set you up with whatever you need. No one's going to try to upsell you. No one's going to try to get you to do something you don't want to do. We're here to help you accomplish your health and your wealth dreams. So thank you very much. No.
Thank you, sir. Chuck's the man. I can't wait for this thing to roll out, and he's gonna be on fire about this new one. But and the fact that he knows everything about these compensation plans and he's so fired up. When I read this, I'm like, it sounds good, I think. And then Chuck called me. He goes, yeah, it's good. I'm like, all right, cool. But hey, last couple of things here, and then we'll go eat if you guys are interested. This is like a Wednesday church service in Tennessee. You guys all ready for some food afterwards? Anyway, So we talked about this is at info.com. That is everything about how the technology works. That's what we share with other people. If we have questions, we go to that site. This is at team.com, and this is everything about how to build the business. They make this so user friendly, right? So you want to know how to do the technology, how to do the business, it's right there. So that's what we send people to. So those are the two websites. As everybody that we bring on, I would encourage you to send them to this website first. This is webelieveteam.com. We created this gosh, maybe 8 months ago now. And this is our team. This is our team name, is the We Believe team. And if you send it to everybody there and walk them through it, spend 5 to 7 minutes, just walk them through it real quick. And it really sets them up for success. It tells them when the meetings are, right? We got these meetings on every Sunday, we do it online. Every Thursday, we're here. Monday and Wednesday, that This Is It team do them. And Saturdays are the training. Everything is on there. So just walk them through real quick and on how that works, and then just really get used to that one. Last two things here is, number one is we have there's a Facebook group. Let's just get obnoxious about celebrating our team when they're hitting these different ranks on that Facebook group on the This Is It team, especially when this new thing comes out, because there's like 12 different ranks. So we're going to be just popping these people all over the place. And then there's also a YouTube channel. You can get on this on my Zoom link there, or at the my website as well. Last thing, and then I'll close it down here, is the fact that, you know, it says right here, now it's time to make your move. If you're online or new here today for the first time, it's not about, do I go home and do all the research on X39? It's not. It truly isn't. Think of so many things that you've bought in your life because you see a commercial about it, or it just looks shiny on the shelf, right? This isn't like that. Do all the research that your heart desires. Truly, we're not afraid of people doing research. We want you to look at that website and dissect it. But you got to put this thing on you, because that story that you're going to have, the story that we're going to have from you in September, I can't wait for it, because it's going to be outstanding, right? But the story that everybody has in here, that's what matters. And lastly here, you know, you see people on beaches. I don't know if anybody here likes going on vacation. Free ones are a lot cooler. I tell you, I told you the story about us booking this thing yesterday for the family. Super excited. It's going to be an awesome thing. That was the first time in 2 years I'd paid for vacation. So that one hurt a little bit. I'm like, oh, I got to pay for this. LifeWave has paid for the last 4 vacations. All inclusive, 5-star resorts, flights, everything. So that is not 1 or 2 people can make that. Literally, majority of our team can take that. They set us up so easily for success that anybody can get it. We had a lady, Laura, that in 7 weeks earned the last trip, in 7 weeks. Right. I got a guy, I think he's on here, Jesse. If they had a contest going on right now, he would have made it probably twice in the last 7 weeks. So you can earn these trips. They set that up for success. So to Chuck's point, let's set this up. We do have next level event coming up. That is in Orlando. We have, I think, 70 some people now registered for that. If you've not done that yet, make sure you get there. It is the biggest thing you can possibly do. And if anybody running for that contest that I'm doing, by chance, giving away some money, $10,000 if anybody likes money. It ends in a week and a half from now. So starting Sunday, if you guys are getting my text, I'm going to start sending the update every single day with the other teams. But we have a lot of people running for that top 7. So pretty excited. So anyway, thank you guys for everything today. And again, can't wait for your story in September. It's going to happen. All right. Thanks, guys. Oh, bye, everybody.
See ya. Thank you.
See ya.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Oh, everybody's talking. Hold on. Let's see what great. Bye, guys.